That's not Cynthia.
It's not.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unsung Heroes. Lovely to have you. First of all, you'll notice that Kelly has stepped in for Cynthia at the last second. As most of you know that we watch regularly, Kelly's one of our wonderful producers. But Cynthia is somewhere in an outback shack, and can't actually connect properly. And that's what she sounds like. So we decided that it's probably best we just have the wonderful Kelly instead.
I'm wearing. I got dressed up. I'm wearing a t-shirt and a bun.
Got dressed up. So you weren't wearing a t-shirt before? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
Hi.
Oh gosh.
This is going to be more chaotic than usual because we have not planned for this at all.
We are great.
Cheers to that, Cynthia, and I'm sure we're going to have to get her back, Kelly.
I mean, clearly, because we can't miss Cynthia. Her level of chaos is like what the show thrives on it. So this week's Unsung Hero is Andy Gilmore, and he is ridiculous. I'm so excited to talk to him. He's the lead guest experience designer. He basically creates these narratives that gets people and guests like moving through immersive experiences. I don't even know honestly what that means. Partially because I'm so ignorant about many things in this industry, and the other part is because my brain is just so excited to hear from Andy that I cannot wait for him to tell us about this. But
and it's also nothing to do with the panic of being thrown in at the last second, right?
Yeah, no. I mean,
so totally used to it. It's fine.
If I had my hair down, I'd be flipping it. This is great. So, what are your shower thoughts for today, Chris? Before we
okay. I'm so put aback and all disjointed. I've whipped my phone out. I'm not even sure, as I was saying in the prequel, I'm not sure. That was almost a Dr. Evil there. I'm not sure where I got to in my last one. So I'm going to skip one just in case I used it in the last one. And I've got a running list, everyone. I've got a running list in my notes app on my phone. I shall start with just it's not a shower thought. It was something that popped up on Twitter or something the other day that I was like, oh yeah, Europe's the only continent that doesn't start and end with an A. Because I'm just saying, yeah, North America, fine, but it's America and Asia and Africa and Antarctica and Australasia and Europe.
But it still starts with two vowels.
Sorry, it's the only one that starts with two vowels. No, it's not.
Or no, I mean it starts with a vowel and ends with a vowel, just like the others, though.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird.
Still two of the same. Sorry, yes, it's still two of the same. I just thought that was cool. And I decided that in an actual shower thought, I decided you can buy love. You know what say money can't buy love. It can. Go buy a puppy and tell me that that's not love. And tell me that you're not going to fall in love with that puppy and that puppy is not going to love you. You can buy love. It just has to be a puppy.
I have a friend from grad school, and he's also mainly Sarah's friend right now because he does not like pets. And I don't understand it. I don't want to call this person out. He knows who he is. Sarah's saying not her friend. It is your friend. He is only your friend right now.
There's sat on the heroes, and then I have. I'm gonna brush over this one really quick because I think I probably should have checked it with you and Sarah first, but we're just going to go with it. And I'm going to say it in a slightly different way that's safe.
I'm already read. Okay.
Well, I was just thinking of how terms change over time and words mean and pick up different meanings than they used to, and then they get known for their new meaning. And I'm just all I'm going to say is that when I was much more of a kid, pegging meant that you gave your mate a lift on the back of your BMX, and it's changed a lot. So Urban Dictionary, if you're brave.
And specifically, wow.
Never mind. And then the other thing that I thought, we keep talking about public toilets and public restrooms. We can ask what Andy thinks about that in a minute. So we have a sort of running thread through quite a lot of what grinds Cynthia's gears and winds her up, and her rants, and also some of the thoughts that I come out with. But public toilets seem to be a thing, or restrooms, washrooms, whatever we want to call them. And I always think, how the toilet paper is really thin. Anyway, the second that you're in public, it's like the thinnest stuff in the world. And I wondered if that's a really passive-aggressive way of businesses making people wash their hands. Because I know Cynthia has a problem with people not washing their hands, but I was like, that's a really the first thing that like, if you're gross and don't wash your hands, and then you go and a little mini accident happens with the very thin toilet paper, you're gonna go and wash your hands, surely.
I mean, I hope so. I hope you wash your hands anyway. I agree. Like, wash your hands.
Yeah, but we know that there's people that don't. And
I saw them at the airport. I was in an airport recently, coming back from California, and I'm stuck in the whatever airport. I don't want to call it out, but this lady, an employee of said airport, walks in, uses the toilet, and like as I'm washing my hands, she just like leaves. I'm like,
do you aggressively wash your hands louder when you see someone doing that?
I like hold my hands.
You sort of start doing this in front of them.
Do you not know for the last 2 years what we've been having to do? Sing the ABC song, something.
So you sort of want to punch the soap dispenser a couple of times and just throw it across the room at them, and especially in a gents, that can be misconstrued.
Yeah. It like hits the back of their head, and they're like,
"What is that? Smells like lavender, though. It's gorgeous."
All right, we got to get Andy on. I need to hear his thoughts.
We need to get Andy on.
All right, the one, the only, Andy Gilmore, everyone.
Hello. There he is.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're all right. How are you?
Good. I'm sad.
We're sorry for the pre-call and it all been chaos.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you guys, So, I'm sad that Cynthia couldn't be here, but Kelly, really glad to speak with you as well. So
we shall see if she manages to find some internet to join us later. And it is always chaotic here.
Yeah, surprise! It's like a "this is your life" moment. She'll just turn up, just
yeah. Are you an animal person, Andy?
I very much am, and I don't understand how anyone can not like a pet. I'm sure most people like pets more than they like people. So, yeah, yeah. How can you not like a pet?
Exactly.
They just got you or something. Come on. Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
This is my pet.
Oh, David, you need to come and see. You need to log on and see this.
That's Barney. He is trouble. So yeah.
Look at that little face. He looks like, yes, we've called you here today.
Oh.
To discuss your severance package. Adorable.
And you can buy love. Yeah, you can buy love. But this is what my wife wanted. So this is why
they're loving those eyes.
I know. Yeah. He's needy for sure. But yeah. Yeah. He's a good dog, but yeah, man, he's like Scrappy Doo. He's like the noisiest small thing in the world. I just don't know how he can be so loud but also be so small.
I'm really sorry for my next question, but I can't not. Did you have a BMX when you were a kid?
I did have a BMX without pegs. So
there we go.
Yeah, so I do know where you're coming from. Unfortunately, I'm too, I'm too naive to know what it means now.
Oh, fantastic! Just keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, I do know what you mean. Yeah, especially how things mean different words over time. Yeah, I'm sure that's. Well,
there's the easy one to go to in England is the charity that changed its name because of the terminology and how it was used.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I believe the charity is now called Scope.
Oh, right.
But yeah,
I remember Weight Watchers once having to change their URL because it spelled twat in the middle of it. Sorry, I was the first one to swear. That's probably not.
Fantastic.
That's hilarious.
And then the same as how did anyone not spot when Susan Ball's album release came out and Sue's Anal Bum Party came up on Twitter.
That's so good. That must have been intentional. I'm sure it was.
It's amazing. Some of the I think about this when I watch. I very rarely watch terrestrial TV, but you know that the adverts. Someone you're watching those adverts, and someone somewhere said that's a great idea. This is brilliant, and gave that the green light to be aired on national television. And it more likely than not puts me off of the brand. Like all of these crazy, weird, annoying adverts. It's like, I'm just definitely not going to go anywhere near you. And it's like your own, like not false advertising, but like you're besmirching your own name on national television by putting out such a shit advert.
What's a good advert to you then?
Oh,
what's the best advert?
Just short, sharp, and simple. Now, I know it's a bad example because it has a bad context to it, but the old Yorkie advert, because it was just like bang, Yorkie, and it was its tagline, if you don't know, is "It's not for girls."
Yeah,
but it was supposed to be like not a manly thing, but it's just like you got to really like your chocolate. So they changed it, but it was so short, sharp, and simple. Like that Go Compare guy, Andy.
Yeah.
If I could hang him from somewhere prominent in London, probably over one of the bridges, because it's so annoying. Why would I want to go and use a website that's so annoying in my life? I won't go anywhere near it. And then what's your other option? Oh, you can go to the bloody Meerkat one. So I'll do my own research. I'll do my own comparisons. I don't need a price comparison website because they annoy me too much with their adverts.
Yeah, but you get a free teddy sometimes, or cinema tickets.
I have teddies. I have them from when I was a child because I look after and care for things. Cinema tickets, yeah, I can sort of get that, but then what else do you get your family to buy you at Christmas or birthdays?
Exactly. I think the best thing about the Go Compare guys is he's actually like quite significant opera singer. Like he's like.
That's the crazy thing. I would go and watch him perform opera, but I want him hung because of the advert.
Yeah, I wonder if his encore is the Go Compare jingle.
He must get it so often. Do the thing.
Yeah. Sorry, we have got very British, haven't we? Sorry.
Well, it wouldn't have helped with Cynthia either, because she's French American anyway, so she don't get it.
We're like, what's happening?
Yeah, so that's the Go Compare guy, and he's an opera singer, a very good Welsh opera singer, and he sings Go Compare at the top of his lungs like 8 times in 30 seconds. And it's so annoying because you know how they turn adverts up so that whilst commercials, sorry, there you go, commercials.
I know,
so you're out there making a cup of tea and you can still hear the adverts. You're like, turn the telly down, and then your show comes back on and you miss them talking because you got to turn it back up. So annoying.
It's been going on for over 10 years, I imagine, as well, which is the worst thing. How's it had this longevity?
I guess we're doing it lip service now by talking about it, and then there we go. They've got a free plug on us.
At least we haven't started singing yet,
his name, according to Sarah, his name is Gio Camparo. His real name is Wyn Evans. Of course it is. What a Welsh name. Wyn Evans. Sorry.
I wouldn't even attempt.
It's Irish names are worse.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
at least Irish names have vowels.
They only have vowels. It'll be like EOIOEUION, and it'll be like, oh, that's spelled Siobhan.
I thought you were spelling Owen.
Yeah.
We've already we've actually not got into anywhere. So Andy, for anyone watching, and please do anyone watching, give us a comment, subscribe, follow, caress, lightly press, slightly press. All of those kind of buttons. And Andy, what would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you do and how you do it?
Yes, will do. Hi everyone, my name is Andy Gilmore, and I concepted the Go Compare advert. I can give you a bit of backstory, but the top line of it is I'm Andy Gilmore. I work at Catapult in Derby, in the Midlands, in Derbyshire. I live in Derbyshire as well, just on the edge of the Peak District, so it's a beautiful part of the world. I've been at Catapult for 9.5 years, and we design immersive guest experience attractions and leisure entertainment pieces. And I was born in Northern Ireland in a little town called Garva in County Derry, or Londonderry. And there's nothing actually remarkable about the place at all, other than the local forest has an actual pyramid in it, which is the most random thing ever. So that was the only claim to fame of the pyramid. So you could say I was kind of born around some sort of Egyptian theming. So there's kind of theming in the local town, when I grew up. It was actually a pyramid that was Lord Garva actually built it so he could be buried in it. It was a really random thing, but he was never buried in it. So there was a little interesting fact about it, but they actually covered it over because people used to just get really drunk in it. But yeah, that's my hometown. That's the most remarkable thing about it.
That doesn't sound like Northern Ireland at all. People getting really drunk in places.
I'm just glad that they didn't film any Game of Thrones there, because that's just set up for some Dothraki thing in it. But I was always kind of interested in the construction of things growing up. My dad was an engineer. He was really inventive with his solutions to things, and it was something I always really admired. And I love technology at school. And kind of creating solutions for problems and things like that. Into skateboarding, music and art growing up, but specifically I was massively into drawing logos, not logos of bands, logos of brands of skateboarding and things like that. And I just became really obsessed with typography and design and kind of color usage and just illustration for kind of brand purposes and things like that. And that kind of led me into kind of studying graphic design, really. And that's what I came to Derby to study. I didn't really have a lot of exposure to theme parks growing up. Where we were, there wasn't really a great deal around, but there was Barry's Amusements, which was in Portrush, which was this really kind of stuck in its ways old theme park with Barry's Big Dipper in it. And it was God, right on the seafront along the Causeway Coast, near where the Giant's Causeway is, and it's a stunning part of the world. And yeah, that was a lot of fun memories growing up, hanging around there, skateboarding, smoking cigarettes outside it and stuff like that. So yeah, I love that part of the kind of excitement that you get from theme parks. But sadly, it's closed down not that long ago, and they're going to flatten it and turn it into to flats or something. But yeah, a lot of good memories growing up. They didn't employ me there though. I applied for a job many times and they never give me a job. So maybe it's kind of ironic that I'm not in this industry. So
and they're not.
Yeah, well, yeah. But yeah, I mean that was kind of my immersion in kind of the world of themed entertainment. You can see it wasn't really something that was in the forefront, but you know, when I went to university, I studied graphic design, like I said, and looking back at a lot of my projects, a lot of them were kind of experience based. So I actually, at the end of university, I got published in a book from the Young Creative Network. It was kind of like a student graduate's book to raise the profile for a project I did for lastminute.com, which is kind of like a similar kind of last minute holidays booking cheapo thing. But that, looking back at it, you know, obviously the design's terrible now, but the idea of it was kind of, you know, wayfinding people to a certain position and then you know, getting them to purchase or retail, you know, buy something. One of the other projects I did at university was around doing, yeah, this was it. Yeah. It was literally just some pink signs that I put all around Derby and just pointed people into the city centre. Yeah, I kind of got told off for just leaving them there. But yeah,
Go away.
Yeah. But that was really cool to kind of think. But just looking back on it, it was always an experience-based project that I always worked on. It wasn't just necessarily design. So yeah, you know, being featured in that was great. And then after I finished university, I got a job in a print design agency where I kind of learned my trade in terms of brand design and retail displays, but also learned a hell of a lot about print, specifically large format print and how things are kind of put together and things like that. So that was a great insight into, you know, which really helped me kind of forge a career in kind of theming design, because I had that background and knew how things went together and how to solve issues around print and kind of graphicing things. And so that was a real big part of kind of setting me up to where I was. When I left that job, I wanted to go into digital design, but just working with Catapult, after 5 years, I moved to Catapult, and we were just more and more experience just working with themed entertainment and working within this industry. It kind of just pulled me in. So yeah, I've been at Catapult for the last 9.5 years, which feels a long time. I actually met my wife at Catapult, which was quite surprising. Thankfully, we weren't actually working together. We worked for different departments, so I don't think we would have got married. I think if we had to work together. But yeah, we got married last year, which was cool. It was Dawn was.
Oh,
Dawn was
look how
very
beautiful you are, both of you.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
that's lovely.
It's a wonder what Photoshop can do, isn't it? That's not actually my wife. No, I'm joking.
I was like, she doesn't like Photoshop. She looks great.
Oh, yeah, she's yeah. So it's been great. Dawn, my boss, was very excited that it was the first Catapult wedding they ever had. So it was yeah, very good. So yeah, I've been I started at Catapult as a graphic designer, and then I moved into, you know, a variety of projects working across different disciplines before we kind of really focused on guest experience over the last 4 to 5 years, which has been a real kind of ever evolving and exciting industry to be a part of. So that was kind of my journey up until, you know, kind of getting into themed experiences, really.
That's a good old effort. And I mean, a Catapult wedding, a backlog. So working through then, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you've had to put up with, get through, overcome?
I think a lot of the time and it's probably a very obvious one. It's budgets and timescales. I think is one of the probably it's a very obvious answer, I think. But I do think it sometimes can be a challenge and sometimes can be a blessing as well, especially when it comes to budgets specifically. I think Cynthia's online.
Now she knows that.
I do think it's I do think budgets can be a kind of a blessing sometimes, because it's easy to throw lots of tech at something. It's easy to throw lots of theming at something. And I do think a lot of the magic around the creative people in the industry is using tight budgets and timescales to turn things around. It really is some of the most kind of creative outputs and amazing things that you can do on a tight budget. So I think that's probably for me a lot of the stuff. I think working through COVID, I think, was probably one of the biggest challenges as well. I think, especially for our industry, and I'm sure we've talked about it enough to death, I'll not bring it up anymore. But just that working in that environment during the pandemic was a challenge, especially around a lot of the uncertainty of the industry, and it was a scary time for businesses and people. I think it was such a challenging thing, but it also blessed us with quite a lot of projects that we might not have worked on. One of them being for the local city council here in Derby. It was called the Derby Marketplace. It was a project that I was involved in that was kind of designed to reintroduce people back into the city centre in a big time of uncertainty. And it was a fantastic project to work on, because there was lots of different suppliers and people involved from the council and politicians and everybody getting involved to help really bring this project together. And it was something at Catapult we were really, really proud to be a part of. And the idea was that it was a kind of alfresco dining area for the local businesses and restaurants to be able to deliver food to, for people to come and safely enjoy that out in the open air and where it was safe as well. And it generated quite a lot of income for the local businesses, and it was a really kind of brought a lot of color into the space and really brightened up the city centre. It was something that was quite, over a period, was quite a dark time. So that was a fantastic project to be involved in, something we're really proud of. But it was great to introduce, because it was on such a tight timescale, tight budget. There was a lot of freedom in terms of, we need to have something, we need to do this. So there was a lot of creative freedom, especially around the tone of voice and, taking all the safety signage and things like that, like, all the kind of stand 2 meters apart signs, and really playing with some of the wording on that as well. So instead of saying, stand 2 meters apart for the Christmas one, we had, stand 220 Brussels sprouts apart and stuff like that. And it was just really fun to create those little smiley moments for people doing stuff that was probably for quite a mundane thing for them after a while, to kind of really introduce that kind of bit of fun and while still keeping everybody safe. So yeah, it was a fantastic project to be involved in.
This looks lovely. Like, I would want to go to that now.
Yeah, but you're thinking about it at your air temperature, Kelly.
Yeah. Well, thankfully the little huts that we used, some of them had heaters in as well, which was great. So it was quite useful for people.
I think a lot of obviously City Council there did not miss the beat, but there was a lot of opportunity for this. So where especially in the UK, everything was going from, we're almost there and we're going to get their word any day now. And then all of a sudden it was like click and everyone's back to work and it's all normal. Everything's normal. And I think they needed to spend, from stuff around certainly my area and my experiences on some of the sites I've worked on since and before, I think there needed to be some like reintegration time. And there was an opportunity there that was missed by so many areas and so many businesses, of trying to be like, we're still sort of doing this, but we're also sort of not doing it, and just hitting that lovely middle ground that makes everyone feel comfortable but safe at the same time. Yeah. And now you sort of got to pick whether you're going to ignore it and carry on as normal, or whether you're going to carry on with all of the protective measures and each to their own sort of thing in the UK. And then over in the States, you've got different rules, and then China's back. Never mind.
But yeah, it was a great, like you say, middle ground for people who who didn't want to come out and didn't feel safe enough to come out. But a safe environment for people you could book a chalet, you could book a table, you could kind of set your own. You had 2 hours on it. It was cleaned before you got there. It was cleaned after you left, and it was table service and Deliveroo or any kind of. Is that just on this?
Just on this. I mean, that's a brave statement from Kelly and Sarah there with Cynthia and I hanging around.
Oh, I just meant stateside. We don't have.
Oh, right.
But it actually evolved. They put like a stage in it and started hosting live music as well. So it ended up being, reintroducing
a venue.
Yeah, turned into a venue, which was great. And then eventually it evolved. They put a marquee in for the winter time and started staging live shows in there as well. So it was all a bit more controlled as opposed to big arenas. They could do pantomimes and things like that as well. So it really helped get the city kind of back on its feet. So yeah, that was a great project to be involved in. So yeah.
So I mean, if we're ignoring like the last 2 years as a block of time, then what would you say is one of the most challenging environments that you've worked in?
I don't know.
You can say like a specific site or area, not a site, so you don't get in trouble for saying area.
Yeah.
A climate, crazy deadlines, like stuff like that.
I think we've done some work where I was kind of sent on site for a week. And it was kind of, that last minute rush before a theme park opens where everybody's going crazy and there's just, it was one of those things where it was such a bizarre thing to live on a theme park for a week, like just like being on site 24/7. But it was like a, crazy walking around, just, measuring things up because at that time we were creating signage and kind of doing all the design on site as it was happening, signing it off, putting it to print, installing it. It was all like super quick turnaround. And it was all very, very last minute. But, that was pretty challenging because that was, when you're, 110% in something and you're kind of scared that you're going to miss something and it's going to open soon and things like that. So that was quite an intense kind of environment. But at that time, this was quite a few years ago. That was probably my first real kind of a complete immersion in the panic of opening, So that was a real challenge for me, and it was a very tiresome week. But we got it all done, and it was great. But to be there on your own, kind of doing that sort of thing, shipping your Mac over to get it done and stuff like that. That was a great kind of time. But yeah.
Right. Sarah's just put in our chat. That's how I lead into things, Sarah, because I'm blunt. Apparently, we've got a couple of project photos. So, do you want to throw them up, Sarah, and we'll have a chat about them as I see them because I've not pre-looked.
I haven't either.
How exciting!
This is Sarah's baby. She takes care of the images, so I'm also always surprised at things. Hold on, here we go. I see it in the green room. Oh, cool.
Lego Dots. So this is a project we did with Legoland Discovery Centres and Merlin and Lego, and it was a great project to be involved in. But it's kind of to cover off more what I would do within a project, and this was a great example of kind of end to end and how I would touch it. So like Lego came to us in terms of creating this new kind of experience within the Discovery Centres to promote the new Lego Dots product. And it was a great example of just being able to play with that Lego brand. And it was a completely different way to play with Lego. So from a purist point of view, it's a very systematic, you follow follow the rules, or and you build something and then it's a car or it's a house or something like that. Lego Dots is more of a free-form creative where you use single tiles to kind of build stuff and create patterns, and kind of really it's all about self-expression. And it was a great opportunity to introduce that kind of creative environment for kids to kind of be really creative and expressive. So we devised the cart based on almost like a festival. And there should be a few more shots in here of it as well. But yeah, it was in terms of, we kind of did all the initial meetings and did a great site visit down at House of Dots in London, which was a great kind of pop-up done by the brand retail side of things. But this project was kind of launched globally around a lot of the sites. I can't remember how many it's in now, but it was a real fun project to be involved in, to be really creative and kind of create this little magical thing that kind of opens out and kids can explore in and pick whichever colors they want, and then build all their creations and then display them on some of the other items that they've got in there. So it becomes from a kind of art feel, like an art studio feel, into kind of a colorful festival where kids can leave their marks as well, so they can be proud of their creations and then display them for other people to see. So that was a great.
When you were a kid then, Andy, if you were faced with this, would you be running towards it and making all kinds of wonderful shapes and pictures and whatever pops into your head? Because I am a polar opposite person. I'm like, give me the Lego kit, give me the instructions, and I will build that. And I had friends when I was a kid that drove me absolutely mental by going, oh no, we don't need this turret on the castle, let's put something else there, let's put a spaceship there, let's build a spaceship. And I'm like, no, spaceships don't go in castles. It's not in the instructions. Leave it alone. We can build spaceships over here.
One of my favorites. So are you kind of like a builder and then a displayer, in terms of you would build something and then never touch it again?
I would build it for the experience of building it, and then destroy it. Put it back in the box because it takes up less space. It's the most practical way of dealing with it.
Yeah,
and then if I want to play with my Lego, I keep going back to my castle because I played with it a lot. You're a pain, Kelly. I played with that castle a lot, and one of my with the castle, it was a bit more complex, so I tended to leave that more built. And then I started getting Star Wars Lego, and obviously that didn't really suit. So I break down the Star Wars Lego at the end of every time I was playing with it, so it all fit together in my under bed drawer thing that had all my toys in it. So it's a cat tail. And then bring it out and then have the joy of rebuilding it each time, because it was less complex and I could remember how to build it without getting the instructions out, whereas the castle was a little bit more different. So
yeah, it's fascinating because there's a lot of people who would play with Lego who would be exactly like that, would go in and they would be faced with a bucket of Lego and they would just build a car or a house or something. But faced with a pen and paper, what would you draw? And I think that's the challenge. I think that's the question that Lego was asking, was if we could create more freedom of expression, but instead of using pen and paper, you're using Lego brick to do that. This is an execution of how you could do it. And it was fun because patterns and things like that, we were looking at how we could do perhaps kaleidoscopes or something like that, with Lego pictures and things like that. And there was just tons of kind of scope for really amazing art installations using Lego, because there's some great examples out there, but kids' imagination is amazing. We've been doing some other insights into other projects and seeing what kids can create whenever they're being kind of posed a question. And it's just fascinating, and it blows you away because you think maybe they might need a lot of help in terms of answering a brief to a certain degree, but you're just blown away by how clever kids can be creative and things like that. So I mean, one of the things we did at Catapult last year, which was great, during the pandemic, obviously there was a lot of kids who were being homeschooled. We did be a theme park designer competition where kids could kind of download a pack, or parents or teachers could download a pack, and kids could fill it out and name the ride and creative. And there were some absolutely crazy ideas, but you could just see them work in a theme park. It was amazing. And it was like, we're totally stealing these.
Here's a lollipop. Cheers. We're going to make
thanks. Yeah, you signed the conditions, when you entered. But we actually managed to. We the chosen one was like a volcano of doom, and it was just this crazy, like roller coaster through a volcano with like all sorts of random stuff in it as well. And then we built it in 3D and then showcased it back to the kid so he could ride it in VR, which was just awesome. And it was like this awesome moment where his eyes just lit up, where he sees it in reality, and it's hopefully inspiring the next generation of themed entertainment designers.
Kelly, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, like I had deliveries being made and dogs barking and food being prepped and stuff happening. So that's kind of a really good foray into this next question. When you were starting out, what are some things that you wish you could have known, or something, if you could go back in time and tell yourself, this is good information for you to have, what would you do anything differently?
I think I would say to myself, you know more than you think you do, I think, and kind of trust your instincts more. I think a lot of that comes down to imposter syndrome, and it's something that a lot of people face in this industry, I think, because it's a very vast industry and it's got, so many amazing, talented, incredible people in it. But it's also got people from, completely different backgrounds who just have come from all different walks of life and have all different types of experience. And I think it's a great thing to be able to kind of tap into that other knowledge, because it's a constantly evolving industry. And it's amazing with every kind of event that you go to and you talk to someone else from a different kind of walk of life or different background or experiences, you can learn so much from somebody else's experience, and they can learn a lot from you as well. And I think it's to not think that your kind of opinion is invalid. And I think that's something that is great to share. When you do a brainstorm session, we try to involve everybody in the team from all different walks, different parts of the company, because everybody's got an input. Everyone experiences things differently, or has an opinion, or has had previous experience. So I think, it's that sort of thing, to just to put it out there, because it's not often, you get through a lot of crappy ideas, but after you work through them all, there's always a bit of a golden nugget underneath. So that's something I wish I knew a bit more, just to be a bit more confident in your kind of, because everybody's got a bit of creativity in them. And I think that's, it's incorrect to assume that only creatives or designers or, other people can have great ideas that can come from all different, you can be inspired from anywhere.
I mean, we get a rap as engineers as being non-creative at all, which is ridiculous, because some of the stuff that we've got to get built, there's always a direction you can see clearly. It's all been drawn, and it's all coming like from the creative idea. You can see it all on the page, and just going, ow, this is this is going to be tough. And then it's finding a way of creatively engineering it and manipulating everything that you do have to get that to work. So I'm not. I mean, if you gave me a blank sheet of paper and said, "Here you go, draw this," I can't draw. You need an artist for that. Once you've got the artist draw me a picture and then you like it and you say build that, I'm like, sweet, I'm off. Here we go.
And I think that's great as well, because it's so true. Like my dad, was a welder for many years. He was an engineer. He built steel truss buildings and framework for buildings. They did really massive work. And he retired a couple of years ago. For as long as I've known him, he's never had a creative bone in his body. But I've always admired his ingenuity to take a problem and be able to solve it, and he'd be able to solve it in the simplest way without spending any money, because he was quite thrifty, and he was very good at just kind of reusing things and making things really suitable. There he is, the big man himself.
Oh.
And he really inspired me, because he decided he was just going to start, because he could weld, he could build a trailer, he could make a gate, but he just wanted to start making art. And he just started taking these big balls of jumbled up wire and could just straighten them all out and started to make sculptures out of them. And he just took all this kind of engineering know-how and just released it on a pure form, and it was just incredible what he could create. And he started making all sorts of really crazy things, and he started selling them to raise money for cancer charities and things like that as well. So yeah, very, very inspiring man. But just his ingenuity, and I could have said years ago that I was like, oh, my dad wouldn't be able to do that. He build you a great kind of gate or fence or something like that, but I wouldn't ever see him as an artist. So yeah, he grew a beard very soon after that as well. So I think he just got ahead of himself. He got really excited about being an artist, But yeah, he's loving life, being retired, just doing that for kind of just for fun up in his workshop. So yeah, that and I think that really epitomizes that anybody can be creative, no matter what, or at any time as well. And I think it's fantastic.
I keep zooming my face into the screen, so if anybody sees me closer, I'm like,
I thought you were just on the edge of your fancy seat.
I am my throne.
What are we going for, Kelly? We haven't got. I was enthralled in paying attention. So
I know. So I don't think we've asked question 6 yet.
I was going to say, let's go for 6 and carry on from there.
Yeah. All right. So what are some things that excite you about starting a new project?
I think once you kind of done that initial delve in and insights and that catapult, we spend a lot of time doing insights-based research, which is really helpful in terms of understanding demographic and things like that, and kind of target audiences, as well as kind of competitors and things like that. So Robbie and our team is absolutely phenomenal at that. So once we've digested that part of information, we then go into a brainstorming session, and that is just, I absolutely love that, sitting in a team with everybody on the project and just starting to throw ideas around. And we had one not that long ago back in the office about a project, and it was a project I feel like we were really struggling with it a little bit individually. And then we just all sat in a room and we had a cup of tea, classic British thing, sitting around having a cup of tea and a biscuit. And we just absolutely opened the lid and had an amazing amount of ideas, and it just flowed one after the other. And it was so quick. And after weeks of struggling with trying to solve this one problem, a 1 3-hour session solved all of it. And we had so much more, and we were so energized for the project. And it sounds a bit cheesy, but it was really, really exciting, and just gives you so much energy for the project to try and then go off and make those ideas a reality. So yeah, it was a great. That's always my favorite part. And then it all goes downhill after that. When every project gets watered down. No, I'm joking.
I thought you were going to say when the AV teams get involved.
Yeah. It's such a great project.
Yeah, that is one of my battle cries. Get us in early so we can help.
Yeah, you be in the brainstorming session. if it was me. So me running it, you'd
There
be there.
we go. You see,
You'd be there telling me, no, we can't do that.
I never say no. You never say no. You say you can't do it that way, but you can do it this way. So I'll sit there quietly and then go, here's a solution that might work for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not a designy creative eye person. So that, you can't possibly look at that. That'd look awful. And I'm like, okay, I'll go back to shutting up. then you get like months down the line. I shan't mention any names, but I've been working on one recently. It's getting a little bit too close to call, and they're like, okay, we're just going to have to go with what Chris said, because otherwise this is not going to work.
Like, oh, imagine that.
I told you so moments.
I tried to sit there without being the person that I want to be in that moment, because it's always you get to that moment and it's far too far down the line. Everyone's expelled way too much effort to come to a solution that was put on the table in that first, like as you said, like a brainstorming session. And it's not ideal, but this is what we're sort of left with. So that's why I always say get AV teams in early and other technical teams in early, especially if you've got tons of special effects there, because that makes it can all be designed in and managed a lot easier than right at the end and going, oh, we didn't really think about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really difficult because, like, sometimes you want to sell in a vision of a project in terms of this is the narrative and this is the feeling that you want somebody to have when they're in there.
Yeah, I'll mention one name, Cynthia.
You really want the client to buy in and really be enthralled in it. But sometimes in the back of your head, you're going to think, I'm not sure they can afford this. But I think when they get bought in, they will want it and it will deliver what they're asking for, but they just have to commit to it. And there's such a fine balance when you're pitching stuff in that point of view, because what will deliver a great experience from, all sorts of, technical background as well as theming and things like that. And really delivering a great guest experience. And it sometimes just needs that little extra push on the client to go, well, actually, if we did it this way, you would get these much better results. And I think there is sometimes scope for over-promising, but yeah, I totally agree. There's also sometimes when you're like, they haven't got a hope of hell of having that done. So yeah.
You can't, Kelly, you can't. You might as well throw it up now, Sarah, and I'll have to explain it. Out of context, that makes no sense, right? I have a soundbite of Cynthia saying that in an episode where she says, "My boobies, my knockers," and it keeps coming up show after show. She ain't even here, and she's still managing to get her chest in the show.
Oh my god!
Better done other ways.
I'm like the color of Andy's shirt right now. So red.
Yes. Is it as red as my face?
Yeah. It can get and I'm just like normal pasty white.
White. You're a white man.
I'm going to a wedding tomorrow, and I look like this is what I call my terrorist beard because it's getting too long and questionable. I can see Kelly melting down there because I'm stereotyping. Never mind. So leading off of starting. Oh God.
Oh, we miss you too, Cynthia.
Yeah, we miss you. Not forgiven. Leading off.
Wait. Oh. Wait. Sarah's telling us we have more pictures.
I was going straight to that into the next question. You see?
Sorry.
So going from starting a new project, you've got some more photos, which then, if you can talk us through them, they'll lead us neatly into next question.
Oh, okay.
So now Sarah's on a whim, unless you've got an idea of which ones you want Sarah to pull up and talk about. Otherwise, you're going to get them at random.
Oh, I can't remember what we shared already. Yeah, I think maybe there's Thomas stuff. think that's cool. Thomas the Tank Engine stuff.
Cool. Oh yes.
Good to talk about. Yeah.
Apparently they've changed the Thomas the Tank Engine intro from
Have
like
they?
Yeah. I'm told. I saw it on TikTok literally yesterday evening. But apparently they've changed the intro on the TV show, and I find that demonstrously horrible and wrong.
Yeah,
Does
I mean,
Ringo
they've not
make
changed
an
the theme.
appearance?
They've changed the theme tune.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Does
iconic.
Ringo show up?
Yeah, this project was great, and I think it's kind of my point of how experiential stuff's going to really lead into retail, and I feel like those two worlds are going to really merge in the future. I think how we decide to spend our time is going to be a precious kind of commodity that we decide to do. You know, at times probably the thing that's worth most at the moment. I know it is for you, Chris, from the signs that your weeks that you've had.
If I could just have a new watch with a couple of extra hours a day on it, that'd be great.
And I think like having some kind of really engaging like retail experiences is the way to kind of get people in and spending as well. So this was a great project with Drayton Manor in Tamworth, just not far from Derby, in their Thomas land, and they had quite a dated old kind of retail space, and we tried to turn it into more of a play zone and a kind of more of an enjoyable space for kids to get really up close and with some of the toys and things like that in there, but also to be immersed in the whole journey. So a lot of what we do is map journeys of people coming into space, and then how they use it, and their pre and their during and their post experience. So things like normally when the parents may be at the till paying, a child's completely defunct away from that kind of relationship and that interaction. So could we put a little platform, like a little pay station, like a train station, and kids could be up and be involved and say why they're buying that product and what they love most about Thomas and things like that, and being able to interact and use the space a bit more, and it kind of really reinvigorated the space as well. And I think that's like a great kind of sentiment to how retail should be. You should go there and want to spend your time there, not, you know, and get good value for your time as opposed to good value for money. And I think that's it's a good thing, but it kind of shows the variety in terms of what we work on as well. And some of my projects, you know, aren't the biggest, and some of them is a bit of, you know, a bit of kind of random ones as well. You get a lot of kind of strange projects, and I remember you know, you learn a lot as well. And I remember working on Thomas the Tank Engine, learning things about Thomas's favorite color, whilst simultaneously working on an Amsterdam Dungeons project and learning about torture methods of the 1700s at the same time. And I think like my Google search history must have been so weird that week.
You're on a watch list somewhere.
Yeah, I was actually genuinely a little bit worried about it at one stage, but yeah, that was, it just shows you the variety of what you can work on. And it's, you know, from, you know, Tato Park in Ireland, we did a Vikings Experience, tried to redesign the queue line in there to make it more exciting and more engaging, and add more experiences in there. And that was, you know, a project funded by Fulcher Ireland, who their historical partner, and it's you know, using some of the actual history from the Viking invasion of Ireland, you know, in from years ago, and then introducing it so it's almost, you can still learn something, but you're queuing for the line, queuing for the ride. But we managed to kind of do lots of cool things in there as well, in terms of, you know, mist projection and kind of sound and VR, and then we had this great kind of Viking training area with a Batak machine and stuff like that, and it was just turned quite a generic kind of space into something where people might pick up a few bits of information, learn a little bit, as well as kind of be entertained as they're going through the queue line. So that was a fun project to work on. And we had two animatronic crows for Odin's, I think, the Ravens, sorry, that's it. Odin's Ravens, and they had little kind of voiceovers, and it was sat on a photo op. They would give you hell while you were sat there and take the piss out of you. So, but yeah, that was a fun project to work on because it just really turned that space around. And it wasn't the biggest project, but it was really fun to work on.
I wonder how that sound the horn has changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like a button, you kind of pulled it, so it was like an airflow type thing. So yeah, it's probably broken. But there was drums as well, so we had like a sound going around where as you got closer, the drums got slowly louder and louder, and increased the anticipation of your kind of final Viking test before you got on the ride. And yeah, we had drums where people could play them and stuff, so it must have driven the staff absolutely crazy. But yeah, it was a fun queue line. And I think the amount of times you've been stood in queue lines and want something a bit more to do, I think it's a really fun thing to be involved in, to be able to do that.
I was staggered because since it came up as an app, whenever it did, Heads Up has been my family's go-to. As soon as you enter a queue line, someone's got.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I would be, as soon as that app was available, I would be walking around with literally the minimum amount of cigarettes I could in my pocket, so that I could fit more battery packs in my pockets, so that I could keep charging my phone, so we could keep playing Heads Up in the queues.
That's a great idea.
It's still happening.
Queues are just they're a necessity, and as a Brit, love queuing. It's absolutely fine. Everyone's got their turn, and everyone knows how it all works and where we stand. It's fine.
And if even everybody pisses you off, you don't say anything.
Exactly. But what we find that happens more times than not, especially in a queue line that's folded on itself for maximum capacity, and you've just literally got the zigzagging when it's at high capacity. The amount of people, if you're holding a phone on your face playing Heads Up, that will just get involved.
Yeah.
And you end up interacting with like 40, 50 people. And the poor person that's actually got the phone on their head doing this is going, who said that? Wait, something sounded like, say that again. And then four people still talk as they're all down in a line that you've just pointed through.
Yeah.
And it ends up being like chaotic, brilliant fun all the way through. And it's like, he's turned his phone off. There's nothing else to do. So, someone else needs to have a turn. But there's only so far I'm willing to pass my phone away from me.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to just be like my group guessing all the time. So it's like, okay, you've kind of got to have a go now. And it's like, please don't run.
Yeah.
Please don't run. So I tend to pass them forwards in the queue, not back.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea, party games in the queue line. Yeah.
I mean, it's so simple and easy to do. And you can even involve a whole queue line. I mean, here you go. Here's a cheeky thing for you. You can throw a camera up, have position placements and facial mapping, not to map who they are, but being able to track a face, and have the camera pick on a random person, and then be like, "We're going to show you this." Like, so get to that booth there at the end because it's the person that's just about to walk in. Yeah. They can see a word, or they can't see it. Everyone else sees the word. They come back out to join their party still, carrying on around the queue, no bother. And they've got to keep going until they get the word. All it needs is one of the operators to keep having a look on the camera.
Yeah, amazing. And you can theme it easily because you've so many different types of Heads Up like the game. So yeah.
And it's you could. I mean, even the stuff like what's the Monsters Inc. one in Disney that either used to or pretends to get everyone's bad jokes and integrate them into the queue line and into the bits of the show as well. And instead, it's adding that level of interaction that sort of bring the laughter floor. That's it. And I'm convinced now, Sarah, that that's not actually people's. They've just got a bank of jokes that they're keeping in from, I don't know, 2001 because they've never seen. I mean, I don't find them funny because they're not rude, but the way it sort of all goes. You could have that far more interactive and have people communicating and interacting with the environment and each other in so many different ways with technology that doesn't require masses of maintenance and masses of projections and VR, loads of expensive stuff. You can do loads of it with some thought and like a cheeky screen here and there.
And encouraging the the spirit of the guests as well. They're there for a reason to have a good time. And they'll perform. So it's kind of it's a great incentive. I think obviously there's, like you say, that they are a necessity from a point of view of guests. Have to there's a volume of guests from that kind of strategic point of view, but also from building an anticipation as well. And it's a great way to start and deliver that in the queue line. Sometimes you're there for hours, but you can start and slowly build that story in and that narrative in. It doesn't all have to be done in a pre-show. You can start it in the queue line. And for people who come back time and time again, there's always those little Easter eggs as well. And I think that's some of the greatest kind of parts of design, is really rewarding the guests who come back and giving them something different every time as well. So the queue lines are such a big opportunity for lots of great experiences, and there could be all sorts of different things. But yeah, I love that party games idea. That's great. I'll definitely be stealing that and doing that.
I just which integrator to come help with it, right?
Yeah.
So that sort of leads us neatly into dream projects. And if you could work on either an IP that exists or one that doesn't, just at your own idea, what would be your ultimate dream project? And obviously you can't give too much away in case you get to actually design and build it yourself.
I think I'm really fortunate. We recently have been working with Ferrari in terms of some of the bits, and I'm a massive F1 geek. I've loved it.
So we're an hour and 7 minutes in, and now I find out that you're an F1 geek. We need.
Oh yeah, definite
you
F1.
You buried the lead.
Have we got much to talk about, Chris? Has this subject completely changed now?
I mean, I could talk about F1 for about another 3 hours and not be bored.
Yes, we should.
Everyone else, however, might have a bit of a problem.
But we were really, really fortunate to be able to work with Ferrari and SimWorks in concept and the Ferrari experience, and that's a dream project. I'd love to see that become a reality, and to visit that. But it's just working with that brand, and like it's such a global, and it's got such a fantastically passionate story behind it, and it's so synonymous around the world, and like everybody knows the Ferrari kind of brand and things like that. And I think it's a great challenge to kind of turn that into a themed environment and things like that. And it's something that you get so much excitement around race days and things like that, plus the innovation, the technology that's associated with the brand, as well as kind of the heritage and the history and the story, and the location of the brand itself. So yeah, that's been a fantastic project to be involved in. And going back to that kind of retail stuff, there's a fantastic company of a range of shops in the US called Camp Experiential UK Retail. I think there's one in Brooklyn, there's one that's just opened in LA, and it's done by my favorite graphic designer, who's a guy called Dan Casaro. He runs a company called Young Jerks, and his branded stuff is just, I love it. It's definitely my kind of Americana style of typography. I just adore it. But the lovely tone of voice that this experiential it's Dan Casaro is his name, and it's just got that lovely kind of experiential, but it's a retail store for kids, to buy toys and stuff. And then there's a big door that just opens into this, behind a set of shelves, that opens into this experiential mad world. And it's if you could create a toy store by kids it's what it would be. And it's just, I'd love to work with those guys in terms of just creating some amazing kids retail spaces and things like that. So yeah, camp experiential retail, I think it's called. If you search camp retail, you just get camping stuff, which is a bit for management. But yeah, there's that I'd love to do that. But yeah, they've just got, it's kind of like a Kidzania vibe, you know, that sort of thing. But it's just like an emporium of just really cool, fun things to be involved in. And yeah, it's really, really worth a look. I mean, if I could do any project though, it would be a Die Hard themed Christmas market.
Oh my God, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a
yes.
You know, and I hope nobody steals this idea, because this is my idea. I've been thinking about it for ages. You could have a Nakatomi Tower climbing wall. You could have Twinkie stands. You could have a Yippee-Ki-Yay Christmas carols. It's all there. You know, if Secret Cinema, just give me a call. Like, you know, I just think I just love it. I'd love it. I'm a massive Die Hard fan.
Oh, you've got to. So you've got to tip a little bit of your shot into the snow channel, and then it gets, once everyone does it, and as you do your shot, the barman lights it, and it goes off to the plate at the other end. Yeah,
and then you have to say the strap line at the end. Won't do it. Yeah.
I noticed in the comments that Cynthia has posted that she likes to watch cars going round and round and round in circles.
Oh yes.
No, there's no excitement there.
I mean, my NASCAR fandom kind of goes as far as Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. That's a fantastic film. So yeah, but that's as far as I go with NASCAR. But yeah,
can't be bothered. I'm stuck on this Die Hard Christmas market now. There's so much that can get done there.
I know. Yeah, you know, just Hans is at the top of it. It's like a big Nakatomi Tower Christmas tree with Hans Gruber at the top of it.
But you sort of want to see his face.
Yeah.
Like, you suspend him from a glass table, like a mannequin of him.
Yeah,
a good one, waxwork. So you can walk up through the Nakatomi Plaza Christmas tree and look down through the glass and see him doing the iconic drop. Ah,
you just call it the Happy Trails Hands. Like, I love that. Yeah, and I think like loads of like you know, the stall games. You know, just like just be awesome. I really wanted. I might just concept it and see if somebody wants it. So yeah.
Hans Gruber's ham shooters.
Yes.
Like little...
every shot that you take, you have to have it Christmas taped to the back of your neck. You know, over the top every time.
Oh yeah, and you just have like an elevator drop tower, like, you know, in the elevator shafts, and then there's so many things, so much opportunity. But yeah, that would be a dream, just to work with film and stuff like that. I think as well. Just
I can't remember. I know they had this. It's Johnson and Johnson, wasn't it? The two FBI agents.
Yeah.
So all the security has to wear black suits and just be Johnson and Johnson. Everyone's called Johnson.
There's just been loads of people walking around in vests and bare feet, just everywhere. Quite dangerous for Christmas time.
Waiting for fluffy carpets that they can nestle their toes into.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh dear.
That's such a good idea.
I know, I love it. And see, the cogs are turning now, you see.
You can have the air ducts to crawl through for the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a kids play area. Like
just made out of air conditioning units.
Yeah.
So if Cynthia was live, she would have definitely said whatever is on her mind right now.
No, I'm really
out of her mouth. She just doesn't want it written down for all of history to see. For some reason, in video form, it's fine.
Like with it actually coming out of her mouth.
Yeah. What a pain. But she has got her question, which you're going to have to ask, Kelly.
I know. Cynthia, I have to ask your question. So you've mentioned several people that you draw inspiration from, Andy. Who's your unsung hero?
Well, I kind of touched on it earlier. My dad, really. I think you know, and I know that's probably a bit of a cop-out answer, but yeah, my dad's kind of been a really hard worker his whole life, but kind of going back to that, you know, that kind of intuitivity into him. Like, I think it's he's always had that mindset of everything can be solved as long as you think about it logically. And I think, like, I've always loved that. He had an accident quite a few years ago, and is at work, and he unfortunately lost his leg. And it was quite a few years ago now. And I just remember just coming to the hospital. I must have been 11 at the time, or not much older than that. Coming into the hospital in Belfast City, and I hadn't seen him for a week or two since he had the accident. And coming up to the top of the elevator, the doors just opened, and he was doing a wheelie in a wheelchair down the hallway. You know, just like, and that was just his spirit. You know, you can just press on and everything will be all right, and things like that. And he's always been a massive inspiration of how hardworking, and you know, things bother him, but he kind of talks about them, and he gets it off his chest, and then he just gets on with his life, and he just doesn't let things bother him as much, and things like that. And he doesn't let stuff stop him when he's driven, and he gets, you know, he does what he wants to do. And yeah, just really admire him from that point of view. You know, both my parents are amazing role models to me. My mum's fantastically good at being able to explain herself, way better. I don't know. You can have the biggest thing on your mind, and you can talk to my mum, and she'll be able to kind of iron it out for you and make it sound like everything's okay. So yeah, I'm quite fortunate that, you know, my parents have been massive inspirations to me, and heroes to me. So yeah, it's a bit of a cheesy answer, actually. Sorry.
That's a fantastic answer.
No, it's a beautiful answer.
We've talked about it before, I think, behind and like off of being live, but I would never say my dad is my unsung hero, because he gets too much song and dance around the industry. Like, people
He's
know
a
who he
very
is.
sung hero.
Enough. Yeah, he's sung enough. So
it must be hard having a famous dad, Chris. Yeah.
Well, he's only famous in certain circles. That's why. I mean, like, that's why you don't work with family. Like, everyone's just like, is he as good as his dad? Is he ever going to be as good as his dad? He's so much more annoying than his dad, and it's like a constant comparison. It's like, we're different people. He's lovely, but I am too, just not in the same way. And all I get from Kelly is I get WhatsApps when they're all at IAPA or an event somewhere, or the TA Thea and Summit and Gala dinner and everything. And there's all of them stood there and all taking pictures with my dad, having a great time. And he's like, I send it to Chris. He's not here.
No, what's actually happening there is when they see your dad, they think about you. And that's what they're doing. They're actually thinking about you, not about your dad. They wish you were there. That's why.
Oh, it's true. I missed you. And I said that.
I reckon Andy's got a little bit of his mum there.
Yeah, that's exactly what she would do. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Having way too much fun. That was really weird, because I looked down and away to check for props, and then looked back up again, and it had changed from pictures and pictures. I was like, So really, I think that we should get on to some more of our some funnier questions, a bit more light-hearted, and however we're going to do it. So Kelly, do you have this document, don't you? Oh, stop it! So that's my dad's favourite Chris there.
Yeah.
What I keep getting told.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
Chris.
So I'm going to before we go into the Cynthia's quickfire ones, I'm going to have one of my ones, because Andy, if you had to ride into battle on an animal, what animal would it be? It can be mythical or real.
That is a great question. I think. What sort of battle is it?
We're assuming like no one's ever asked
epic
that
battle.
But I'm like battle. Epic fantasy battle, loads of swords, shields, and mythical creatures and wonderful beings. I go in on a polar bear because I think they're legendary, ravenous, and have you seen the size of their claws?
Yeah, I'd go a rhino, or straight up dragon on the fly in.
Can't go wrong with a straight up dragon.
Yeah, just a solid badass dragon would probably work. That would keep me out of danger, wouldn't it?
Oh
yeah,
I
suppose.
I'd use a Diprotodon.
I just all I heard was da then.
No idea what that was.
Diprotodon. It's
Diprotodon.
a Diprotodon. Yeah, it's a prehistoric wombat.
It sounds like a sheep.
I mean, yeah, okay. Oh, sure. I've just seen your message as well. Is it not in that document? Oh dear. Yeah, it is. It's number 6 onwards, Kelly.
Okay.
That is a giant wombat.
That's a big wombat. That's like a polar bear-sized wombat.
I know. How much fun would that be?
Yeah. I've learned
They have
something.
this.
The other one that I would go for is it's a very niche reference in Family Guy. If anyone watches that, there is a multiverse episode, and at one point there's this huge stacked pig that wins the contest, and Stewie shows Brian, and he just goes, "Look at this pig!" And it's like everything's genetically brilliant in this universe, and everything's perfect. And here is it, and he just goes oink, but it's like built like a like one of the muscle men kind of thing, and it's huge, and like that would be a great thing to ride into battle on. It's got fists for hooves on the front, and then hooves at the back, and there it is.
Yes, I remember
There it is.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that's so good.
Because that pig can stand up and straight up, just like knock a dragon clean out the air.
Could do. Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
The proof will be if the battle ever happens.
Oh my god. I have to fan myself. That's hilarious.
That's really trying to think of something from Rick and Morty, but they're all just too weird. So
Pickle Rick. You could ride Pickle Rick into battle, technically.
I mean, yeah, your odds on.
Back to pegging now.
That was you. That was not me. Anyway, do I need? I'm going to go ahead and ask these questions because Kelly's gone and killed herself.
No. I can ask.
You got it? You good?
Yes. Okay. So, best sandwich and go.
Oh, best sandwich. I was very partial to a chicken dipper sandwich at university. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
with cheese, mayo, sweet chili, lettuce. Yeah.
Lose the lettuce and mayo, and we'll talk.
But yeah, chicken dipper.
That sounds like your mystery sauce.
I was always like it's fish fingers and a little bit of, if you're feeling really posh, tartar sauce. Otherwise, ketchup.
Oh, yeah. See, I would go. This you might find this controversial, but I would go fish finger sandwich with salad cream. If it wasn't tartar sauce,
that'll work. That would work.
Yeah. And then chuck some chips in there as well. But then you got to go ketchup. So
I hate chips, and I try not to eat them as best I can.
Okay.
There's just too many sites and too many like finishing at 10 o'clock at night, having not eaten all day, and the only thing opens is McDonald's, and then you're eating like cardboard fries, and it's just put me off chips. Anyway, next quick.
Next quick question. I know. Well, look, we're having discussions. Okay, so what's one thing you own that you probably need to throw out?
Oh God. Yeah, this is definitely it.
We're getting it on camera.
There's an artist, there's an illustrator artist. He's a British guy. You might know him, Chris. He's called Mr. Bingo. He does offensive postcards. He sends them. You pay Mr. Bingo certain amount of money. He'll draw a picture of you and insult you on a postcard and then send it to you. And my friend works for a company who dispatches his books, and his signature is quite synonymous, and he gave me a bit of a cardboard box that has his signature on it, and it's a completely random piece of cardboard box, which is completely worthless, but I can't bring myself to throw it out. It just has his name on it, and I don't know why I want to keep it, but I should probably throw it out. So, yeah.
I think you should frame it. I think
That's
it should
what I
be framed.
Frame it, sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
just
yeah.
put it on your wall.
But he told me not to tell anyone, so I've kind of screwed up here. So yeah.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah. I think Mr. Bingo's the guy who would appreciate it anyway. So.
All right.
Yeah,
so Mr. Bingo got it. This is a 2-part. What is your favorite smell?
Oh, favorite smell. A 2-stroke petrol engine on a lawnmower.
Oh,
After cutting a grass. That combo, that's a winner. That's how I know I'm 35 years old, because I appreciate that.
I'm 33 and I appreciate that as well.
Yeah. I like that. I think that, that smell when it comes to spring and some of these people start cutting the grass. And I'm like, damn, yeah, that's great.
Whoever's 26 and appreciates the smell too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You're winning at life when people start cutting the grass.
The second half of that question, what's your least favorite smell?
Sometimes my dog will, this is gross, this is really gross. I don't know, I'm trying to think whether I should say it or not. Sometimes when he was a pup, he used to poo and then get really confused because he was tiny and scared and didn't know what to do. And then would eat it. And then we would,
his breath was awful.
we'd bring him back upstairs in the morning and he would throw it up. And it was like a combo of vomit and poo, and we called it Pommet, and it was the worst.
Pommet.
The worst thing I've ever smelled in my life. And he threw it up. At the time, we lived in a 1920s house that had floorboards. Oh. It went down through the floorboards. It was horrific. I've never smelled anything like it. So, yeah, that's the worst thing. Yeah. Sorry. Hey, Cynthia.
Hi. I finally got a decent 4G network, and I'm so sorry for missing this show. Thank you, Kelly. I love you.
That's
so
a
pissed
terrible
off.
4G connection.
I know. Give me a break, Chris. At least I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, only an hour and a half late.
Oh, let's cut Cynthia some slack. She's in Brazil.
No.
At a museum.
So, you guys, I just have to say where I am, because this museum is incredible. It's called the Museum of Tomorrow in Rio de Janeiro, and it is, I had chills in every single expo. It's just beautiful. It's incredible. I'm going to write up a piece on Themed Experience Traveler, because it really is an amazing museum. Really. So I'm so sorry that I had to miss. And yes, but it's not the museum's problem. It is Brazil. I can't, as I say this, with a Brazilian guy behind me. My boobies, my knockers. This is my only way out. It's my only way out. I have to go because I can't miss the group, because we have security. This is the Rock. Say hello.
Oh my
This
God.
is the Rock. This is our security. Yes, we're in Rio. We have security. It's so embarrassing. Anyway, good Lord. I interrupted your least favorite smell, the a pommet fart. Is that it?
Pommet. No, pommet.
What a time to join.
We vomit.
What a time to join, exactly.
It dribbles out your mouth all the time, Cynthia.
But so I don't know what weather it is. What's the weather? But I will share this.
Oh,
You.
Lord.
Okay, we can lose her now.
You awful person.
Right, there you go.
Oh, that's insane.
I have no idea. I have no idea what beach we're at or where we're at, but y'all can just Google the Museum of Tomorrow, and you'll see where I am. It's beautiful. But I'm going to be losing the connection because I have to go to the bus. So I'm so sorry. Again, Kelly, thank you for being my hero. Oh, I feel so bad. Andy,
No,
I
you're
listened. I watched. Facebook was working, God damn it. So annoying. Anyway.
I appreciate you
I
joining us
love-
and bragging.
I did. I tried to participate as much as I could. But right now, I really do have to put my phone away because otherwise some guy is going to come rob it. And I need to be careful about that because I already broke my other phone and I really don't want to lose this one. All right?
Away with you.
I love
Big
Rio.
love.
I love Rio.
That was great, as usual. I'm going to take a breathe.
I know. Here's another fun question.
Yes.
Okay.
On.
If you had a song, if you had to describe the rest of your life in 5 words, what would they be?
Oh, the rest of my life going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Probably eating more cheesy chips. That's probably it. I'm married now. You know, it's fine.
It's fine. That is a selling point if I've ever heard one.
Salt and vinegar involved or not?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Probably.
If I have chips, they have to be from a British chippy, and it has to have salt and vinegar on it. And then either I can have it, depending on how good their gravy is, I can go with a gravy on the side, or I can do cheese on the top. But
like
other than
a
that,
good brown gravy.
Well, there's only one kind of gravy, and it's brown.
I hear this not.
No. You say biscuits and gravy, and whatever that tasteless scone with a white sauce is not at all anything to be proud of.
Oh,
biscuits and gravy. Get out of town.
Look, sir.
We're controversial in Ireland. I've had chips, cheese, gravy, and garlic mayo as a combo.
Ooh.
Garlic mayo can go in anything and on anything because I just love garlic.
Yeah.
I hate mayo, but the garlic is worth it.
It supersedes
it. It's called poutine, isn't it? It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, there's chunks of cheese on the poutine. Oh,
yeah.
So good. All right.
Always think that poutine sounds like a word you shouldn't say in public. I feel like it's a really rude word to say.
What?
Poutine. It sounds like it should be ruder than it is.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. So the last fun question before the big fun question.
Okay.
What song would you choose if you had to listen to it and only it for the rest of your life?
Oh. See, this is a difficult question because whatever song it is, you're going to ruin and you're going to end up hating it, but you're going to have to tolerate it. So it can't be your favorite song. But if I can only listen to one song, there's a band called Ultimate Painting, and the song's called Ultimate Painting, and I would listen to that over and over and over again. I love it. It's a great song.
That's going. We still haven't actually compiled. We've got the list, but we haven't made the Spotify playlist yet.
No, we have those Spotify.
Have we actually got white?
Yeah.
Am I just missed the link?
Yeah, Sarah has developed the Spotify playlist like months and months ago.
Ultimate Painting by Ultimate Painting, right?
Yeah, I mean, and their name's just phenomenal. I love it. That's such a great band name.
I need that link.
That's my Friday. You know, when you get to Friday night and you crack a beer, that's the song I put on every time. Love it.
I'm looking forward to getting on it this evening.
If you tell me it's shit, Chris, we can't speak anymore. Then that's.
Oh no!
There's no such thing as shit music. There's just music I can't stand.
Fair enough.
Everyone's allowed to. Like, it's one of those opinion things, isn't it? I can't like my other half, David. He likes Heart on in the car, and I can't stand the radio station Heart because it's like, if it's not Miley Cyrus, it's like a different version of a good song made bad by someone like David Guetta.
Oh.
And I don't understand it. I'm much more of a sort of Queen, AC/DC, little flavorings of ABBA, a little bit of Spice Girls. Why not?
Oh yes,
Celine Dion, legend.
You gotta treat yourself, Chris. That's the, you got to treat yourself.
We shall see. Anyway, I'll let you know what I think of it. So we've got 2 more questions.
Okay.
2 more.
Yes. So because this is Unsung Heroes and there's heroes in the name, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I think it's a pretty obvious one. Does it have to be a funny one, or can it be?
It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, there was a show when I was growing up called Bernard's Watch, and it was a guy. He had a little watch, and he could stop time. Oh my god, he could stop time with his little watch, and it was just amazing. So the ability to stop time, I think, because going back to how busy we can all be, just to switch off for a few hours, that'd be great. But then the fun you could have with being able to stop time, amazing. Yeah.
Would you have it? So I would add on that, because mine is also time manipulation.
Okay.
But I would like to be able to go back 4 hours. Okay. I can either pause it, or I can go back up to 4 hours. But so I can't go find out I've made a big mistake and then not actually have to learn from it. I would like to still have made the mistake and everyone know I made the mistake. But 4 hours is enough time to be like, okay, that's chaos and shit has hit the fan. Like one of those sort of if I'd only left 10 minutes sooner, or if I'd only done this just a tiny bit different, then I'd be able to have done that.
What happens if you go somewhere and it takes, you realize it 8 hours later, but you can't change anything before that?
then that needs to be written in, and that still need to be like, I can't be perfect.
Yeah.
Also, I could just, if I was a little bit short on cash, I could just go, let time go, and then rewind 4 hours, and then do the lottery with the correct numbers.
Yeah, that'd be the one, wouldn't it?
Also, that's a big sort of, there's a big problem that needs solving. Let's just do that.
I also love it because, generally when you leave a conversation, you realize 4 hours later, that would have been the most hilarious thing to say. You can go back and just say it, like, nailed it. Yeah, that's probably the best use for that in my eyes. The things that you always wish you'd said at the time.
Yeah, but then you're going to deliver them with the right delivery, because you're like, oh shit, got it wrong. Back we go again.
Yeah.
And then for our final question, we ask every guest the same question every single time. If you had to wear a hat for the rest of your life, and you weren't really allowed to say to anyone why you're wearing a hat, you just had to wear it all the time, would you wear the big hat, or would you wear the little tiny cowboy hat?
Can I take the hat off to store things in it? I think it would have to be the big hat. I've got,
you can poke things up the side, because it's this hat, and I can't actually get it on because I've got quite a big head. I reckon you could fit a couple of bank cards, maybe a bit of loose change, and a couple of tenors up the side. But
I might be able to, because I'd be famous for the guy who always wears the hat. I could also sell advertising on it. So yeah, I think it's worthwhile.
No one's gone there yet.
Yeah, I've got to monetize
out hat space.
Yeah, I like it. Big hat all the way. You got to look fancy. Come on.
I think the little one could be fancy.
They're both strong looks,
Neither of which suit me. I'm already as tall as a door. If I wear a hat, then that's chaos. We don't need that.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And with that, I think we shall wrap ourselves up. So we shall say thank you, first of all, to Andy. You're a legend. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
to
guys.
Kelly for stepping in at the last second because Cynthia's rubbish. And then thank you to everyone watching. This has been Unsung Heroes, and I've almost forgotten to say what Cynthia always says because she always says it. And have I got the document up so I can remember it?
Have a wonderful day and go make the world a better place. Go hug a hero.
That's the one. Yes, well done.
Thank
Thanks,
you both
Ben.
for having me. Cheers.
Two byes.